Coach Sheed was talking about the Eclipse a lot. Do you have any Eclipse comments?
I mean, I weigh as much as there is days in the year, so I'm definitely the biggest person we have here.
And an offensive line front, you like Coach Sheed, return a lot of guys, but you're adding a lot. Just how has everyone in that room impressed you, especially a guy like Hufford who comes back? And I mean, I assume you've got a lot of leadership there that's helping to, implement the scheme and everything that you want to get accomplished.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, the impressive piece is the guys that we have competing in the room. I think that a lot of the players from last year, the proof's in the pudding that we will play young guys. We will play the best five. And so they saw that, and now they're like, all right, they will play us, So those guys are competing, and every day they go out to practice. We don't have a bunch of rah-rah linemen or guys that are just, saying stuff to say stuff. Like when they say something, it means something. So it's pretty cool to see that kind of culture shift and the toughness in the room. And it's fun. And all the guys we got coming in, and, even the guys that we have that are new at the mid-year, they have that same mentality. And then the young guys we have coming in, they have the same mindset as well. So it's going to be fun to mix all those guys together.
Coach, talking about a guy like Brandon Black, coming in as a true freshman, making 7 starts for you guys last year. Can you kind of just talk about his progression through the season and even now in spring to help elevate his game for this upcoming season?
Yeah, I mean, I think as anyone knows, it's really hard to play football at 18 years old, and it's really hard to play Big 12 football at 18 years old as offensive lineman. So, but he's super violent. Everything that he does, he's intentional. He loves the game of football. He wants to learn and get better every day. He's a guy that's like chasing, greatness all the time, and I love that about him. And he's fearless, really honestly is. He didn't care about him being a freshman or the talent across away from him. I mean, he's a fearless type of person, and I'll ride with those guys any day of the week. So, for him, this offseason has been huge. We've been working on his flexibility a ton. He's super strong, but now that he's had this increased flexibility this offseason, it's really added a big part to his game, moving laterally, and seeing him execute, different blocks, moving side to side has been the fun part about it. And even just from pulling, as an O-line coach, I could sit up here and wear you guys all out all day about different techniques and stuff, but it's been impressive to see.
Can you get into a couple players in particular? Dalen Hazard, kind of what his recovery's been like, what you're seeing out of him this spring, outlook for the fall. And then Dylan Barrett was one that Matt mentioned early on in the spring as someone who had really impressed so far. And just kind of curious, is he still at center, and kind of how that battle's going right there?
Yeah, so Dalen is, Dalen's rehab. I've been the one that has been trying to slow him down a little bit, because if you let him go out there, he'll just go out there and try to hit somebody, And so I'm the one that's like, hey, man, don't cover him up for this drill, And he's just chomping at the bit. So, but he can move. I mean, he can strike. His flexibility is unreal, and the way his hips can snap, and really the way he finishes blocks is impressive. So he's coming along really well. And then Dylan's a tank. I mean, he never complains. He never, there's no, I'm the new guy and I need to know what I'm doing, or I didn't know that. He takes full responsibility, and he goes out. I mean, he's a big, large human being. I mean, he's dense. So he's not getting moved backwards. So it's impressive to watch him go, and really been fun to kind of take, where he's come in this progression of his life from his previous university to here, and really getting those guys running off the ball and really trying to go through people, not to people. So that part of it has been pretty fun to see him really kind of become a new player here, and he's done a really good job. And he's been playing center and guard. Yeah, sorry.
Considering James Neal got such a late start playing football during his career, what's he still learning? What's he still need to learn?
Well, recently I taught him how to play guard. I mean, he's 6'5", 6'6", 335 pounds, and he's big and he's athletic, really athletic. His pass set is impressive. And the fun thing about James Neal is if you watch his film from the beginning of the year and then watch his film towards the end of the year, and it's a whole different person. Like, really, honestly, it's fun to watch. And sometimes, I mean, I sit there and laugh with James. Like, sometimes when a clip comes on from earlier in the season and we sit there and we shake our heads and look at each other and just smile, it's like, man, it's fun to see that growth and development out of a player that's that talented. And like you said, hasn't truly been exposed to that much football in his life, but the majority of the guys that I've coached in my career haven't either. So it's kind of fun because then you see them, like, they only know how to do it one way. There he is right there. They only know how to do it one way, and it's the way you're trying to tell them how to do it, you know. So and then the other thing with James too that I really appreciate about him is, like, he's got a really infectious personality. He's always smiling. You know, like, it's really hard to bring him down. And, you know, that really leaks into the rest of the group. And he's really playing confident football right now, which is fun to watch, you know, for a guy that hasn't played a ton of football. And then to do what he did last year and the growth that he made is pretty fun. Now I've been teaching him how to play different positions because when you walk past him, you're like, man, this guy's going to be a next-level player. And, you know, he has the ability to play guard and tackle at the next level. So it's been pretty fun to teach him that.
What is it about these kids? We've seen it at Iowa State. We've seen it everywhere, where apparently it looks like they just have to let the basketball thing go through them, and then say, "Okay, I'm a football player now." What is it?
I mean, you know, for guys like that maybe have played that sport for a long time, I would honestly say, you know, you're dealing with people that, you know, can't foul at times, you know, or they've grown up not being able to foul, and that's, you know, and then I'm over here teaching them to foul the crap out of people, you know what I mean? So it's a little different world. Like, you should see us play basketball. I'm trying to kill people when we play staff basketball. I think that's why we didn't do it this year. But, you know, it's, for us, like, it's just trying to change that basketball. And I love watching basketball, but obviously we all know, like, you're not just going to go run over somebody and, you know, you do that 5 times and you're out of there. So it's like, but for us, man, we're like, please do that. So that piece of the game is a little bit different. Also, not dropping the inside foot is really different from basketball to football. You know, like squaring somebody up and not trying to really use your, you know, knees to trip people and things like that. But as offensive lineman, your inside foot and your inside hand is everything. So keeping the inside foot up is a big difference. Like, you'll see tackles pass that at times, and I'll even make a comment like, you know, this guy, it's like you're trying to guard somebody driving the lane on you, you know what I mean, trying to make a layup. And I also, to everyone here, I don't know anything about basketball, so any of the terms I use are probably wrong. So I didn't play very much at all. I was really bad. I fouled everybody. So, but like, they would pivot a lot, and they would try to like stay and look at their target instead of, you know, for me, like, pass protection is a mentality. That's what makes me a little bit different than other people. And when you're in pass protection, your job is to protect the quarterback, but your job is also to, like, really, I felt like that's why we got so good at pass protection last year, was that we held the width and the depth of the pocket at the same time. And that really takes guys that have that fearless mentality of, I can really set out there and attack this guy, heavy inside hand, control him with my outside hand, keep the width of the pocket. Anyways, sorry. I can keep going about football O-line stuff all night. You guys would be here mad at me.
Hey, Coach, with your experience a little over a year on staff, what kind of goes into the process of creating a culture change up front and at least getting things kind of trending in the right direction?
Yeah, I think that, you know, you can't give them too much to do at one time. So imagine if you guys were all offensive linemen and I walked in this room and I said, all right, we're going to change this, this, this. Oh, and by the way, don't forget about these 3 things as well. Then they're all writing notes going, okay, like he wants me to make sure that I don't blink my eyes twice before the play started, and you start thinking about too much. And, you know, since I've got here, since literally day one, it's like, I want you to be the most violent, running through people all the time, like 100 miles an hour, reckless in a way to where you get to that spot and you're picking a spot behind that defender and trying to run through him. And then once we got that piece of it, you take that reckless part and you tone that back and you go, okay, now we've got the violence. Now let's detail this out and really jump into the fine details of what we're trying to get done. I think that's really what's going to make, an offensive line and a culture. And really it's about what you're about too, because one day you can't, first of all, you can't say things and then not be about it. And I'm about it. So that part of it's already verified. And then it's like, okay, now as we get into this, you're doing everything we're asking you to do. And I think goes back to the very first thing we said is like the guys that were doing that here played, and I think that they see that and they're like, okay, well now I know like that he will play me if he says he's going to play me. If he wants me to do these 3 things, not these 50 things, these 3 things, that he'll play me. And I think that really that helps the culture of the room, because there's a trust level that Coach Campbell talks about all the time, which I completely believe in. And it's the trust really from the players to the coach and honestly player to player, and then the player back to the coach as well, and coach the player. So, like to build that trust, you have to be consistent in what you're doing every day. And that's really what offensive linemen are, like we are the model for consistency. And I think it's just about what you ask them to be consistent with.
Hi, Coach. You've been here for a little over a year now. As you reflect on your first year at Iowa State, what do you remember most about your own personal individual growth or your position group's growth?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, you go from the first game to the last game of the regular season, and it's not even close. We have guys playing multiple positions. We have guys playing with confidence. We have a group in an O-line room that loves and respects each other. And, I think that they know that I would die for them. And it's, that process of building that trust and that bond between the player and the coach, I think it does take, especially as an offensive lineman, because it's going to take a while. But I think that first year really helps you. Like, they know that I love them, and they know that I'm always going to do what's best for them and what's best for the team, to help the team win. So I think that has really helped. There's that time period. There's really no substitute for that time period between the player and the coach.
To follow up, coaches seem to talk all the time about the biggest growth coming in football between week 1 and week 2 in the season, and year 1 and year 2 for a player. As you prepare to enter your second year at Iowa State, how much growth do you see for yourself as an individual coach at the Big 12 level?
A ton. I mean, I'm always chasing, new ways, different ways, better ways to do it. I'm listening to everyone I can, whether it's through social media or through face-to-face interactions, through conferences, and just trying to get knowledge from coaches that have done it for a lot longer than I have. And I think that they know that I'm that way, as the players do, and we're always looking for new ideas and better angles, and it's just the same thing that we do as coaches when we're scouting and game planning, but for them, they know that like when we go to individual drills, I'm going to do 3 to 4 individual drills, detail them out, and that's what we need to be great at, right? We're not going to do 700 different things, and then, like I said earlier, trying to build that culture of just being just kind of being able to do everything, but not really being elite at anything. So for us, like, I'm always looking for new ways to grow and learn, and it's our job to serve the kids, at the end of the day. So that's my job, and it's what I'm passionate about. If it meant to not sleep all night and walk somewhere to find out something, I would do it.
Thank you, Coach. Appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you.